Let's study the 5 most common failures of prime brand air conditioners, along with their respective error codes. Failure number 1 occurs when the electronic control board of the prime air conditioner detects an abnormal temperature value inside the room. The prime brand error codes related to this problem are: Error code E1, Fault code F2, Protection code P6. Now, let's see the definition of each of these prime brand codes. Error code E1 occurs when the temperature indicated by the sensor is not within the proper range, either due to damage or miscalibration of the ambient sensor inside the room, or issues with its location or connection. Remember, to test temperature sensors in general, disconnect and measure their resistance in the kiloohm scale, comparing the measured value with the temperature versus electrical resistance table of the sensor. Fault code F2 will appear when the prime equipment sensor inside the room is open, short-circuited, or disconnected. Remember that when measuring the sensor's electrical resistance with a multimeter, the value should not be 0 or infinite. Check for possible refrigerant gas leaks by performing a visual inspection of the pipes and heat exchangers for oil stains. If you have gauges to measure the pressure, remember that a normal pressure with the unit running should be around 120 psi. Additionally, if you have an amperage clamp, measure the current consumption. When the unit has a refrigerant gas deficit, it consumes less electricity compared to the regular consumption known as RLA. Protection code P6 of the prime brand activates when, through control strategy monitoring, it is considered that the unit needs to be protected due to a potential major problem related to abnormal temperature. Now let's study the second failure that prime air conditioners can present, which occurs when the system's electronic board detects a lower than normal evaporator temperature. This problem commonly manifests as frost formation on the evaporator caused by low heat exchange due to low fan speed, dirty evaporator air filter, clogged capillary tube, or partial refrigerant gas leak. The related error codes are: Error code E2, Error code E6, Fault code F4, Protection code P1, Protection code P5. Now, let's see the definition of these codes. Error code E2 in prime units refers to issues with the evaporator temperature sensor located in the heat exchanger inside the room. To address this, it is recommended to check the well or evaporator sensor, following the same steps mentioned earlier for checking temperature sensors. Error code E6 in prime units is related to the fan motor of the indoor unit or inside the room. To troubleshoot fan issues, verify the correct fan speed. Additionally, with the fan motor off, ensure that the fan rotates freely to rule out bearing failures. Check the connections, current consumption, and the condition of the fan's electrical capacitor. Fault code F4 in prime units refers to a failure in the evaporator or indoor unit fan motor. Protection code P1 in prime units refers to temperature protection in the evaporator. Protection code P5 in prime units refers to freezing and cooling mode. Now let's study the third common failure in prime units, which relates to abnormal values of the compressor discharge temperature. The prime brand error codes related to this issue are: Protection code P4, Error code E8, Fault code F9. Now, let's see the definition of these codes. Protection code P4 is a protection code triggered by the detection of compressor discharge temperature. Error code E8 specifically refers to issues with the discharge temperature sensor. Fault code F9 refers to a failure in the compressor discharge temperature sensor, likely due to an open or short-circuited sensor. It is recommended to check the insulation of the pipes, the refrigerant gas level, and the condition of the sensor following the steps explained earlier. Check the condenser or outdoor unit's cleanliness and the operation of its fan. The fourth failure in prime units refers to issues with the air conditioner compressor operation. These issues can cause the compressor to turn on and off within minutes or not start at all. The related error codes are Error code E9, Fault code FC. Error code E9 is related to issues in the intelligent power module. Fault code FC is related to a compressor drive failure. In these cases, check if the IPM circuit is correctly connected to the heat sink and the contact paste with the heat dissipation plate. If there are issues with the heat sink, the IPM integrated circuit's temperature will rise, potentially causing this failure. Use a multimeter to check the condition of the inverter compressor coils. Remember that all measurements between the compressor pins should have the same resistance value. If the unit starts, measure the current consumption with an amperage clamp, ensuring that the measured value is lower than the regular consumption. The fifth failure refers to high temperature and pressure issues in the outdoor or condenser unit. These problems typically occur when the heat exchange in the outdoor unit is inadequate due to a dirty condenser or fan speed issues. The error codes related to this failure are Error code E3, related to condenser temperature sensor issues. Fault code EF, related to a condenser fan motor failure. Protection code P6, related to overheating and cooling mode.